All right. What's up? How's it going? I'm in the classroom today trying to get the step done early. I got to get some stuff to do this afternoon, so I figured we'd get some football talking in early so you guys will have plenty of time to build. I really don't think that we have much news to even pay attention to. I know the news that we were definitely focusing on was CMC news, but it does sound like he is not going to play. So we don't need to stress about anything. Today we have a really good game. We have the Falcons at the Panthers, and I'm pretty excited for this game, actually. I think it's nice that we actually have – well, we've had some great games, I would say, even the ones that I figured would be real shitty. I mean, even the Rams versus the Bears game, I enjoyed watching that. Made quite a bit of money. And I know it wasn't a great offensive game, but it was nice. I thought it was a good game. I really thought it was. But today we should see some action. We should see some action today. So let's talk about it. So we have the Falcons at the Panthers. The Falcons are 20. They have Vegas has them at 25 points total, and then the Panthers 26.5. So the Panthers are just less than 2 points home favorites, which to me, I'm feeling like gonna make this a good game. I think Vegas has got this right. I am hearing some chatter. Sorry, my teacher partner is like watching me. I am hearing some chatter that people expect the under, which is possible. I mean, it's a Thursday night game. We've seen these teams match up before, and I believe Atlanta had scored 17. It's the lowest I've seen. And then Carolina was up by about 24. What's up, buddy? How's it going, man? But anyways, let's talk about this. So we're going to talk about Atlanta first. We're going to talk about running backs, what we do. Right now, the Panthers are ranked 28th in DVOA and 18th for yards per carry. They are a run funnel defense. So what does that tell you? If you don't know what that means you run. You run on the Panthers. That is what you do. And if you've been reading the coaches' playbooks and you've been asking me questions in chat, you'll know who my favorite running back this year, who I literally talk about all the time and literally have him on every sheet that I give out and all this stuff, and that's Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley supposedly is not the running back anymore. The Rams got rid of him. They said he can't do it, have knee problems, just fucking can't move, so on and so forth. I haven't seen that this year. This year he looks fantastic, doesn't he? He looks like the old Todd Gurley, in my opinion. I mean, he's not as explosive as he was when he was having that, those insane Todd Gurley years, but he's still being super productive, and he's still getting a fuck ton of carries. So Todd Gurley is 8,400. In my opinion, too cheap. He's seen 20 plus carries in 3 games so far this year, which is a lot. And I see that continuing. They're having a lot of production and a lot of, positive games with Todd Gurley getting the ball as often as possible. So why would they stop that? He's also second in the league in red zone carries, right behind the GOAT himself, Derrick Henry. The only con that I see about Todd Gurley tonight is that he's a road dog, which I never really like to lock in running backs who are, not favorites. But I see this game being super close, and I don't see the Panthers, being up by 2 or 3 scores, which would make Todd Gurley's ceiling drop significantly. I don't see that. And I love Todd Gurley today. I really wouldn't think twice about it. Again, run funnel defense, they can be ran on. You run on Carolina. I see literally, if I had to take a wild guess how many carries he'll get today, I'm going to guess 18. Just a wild guess. I think this game stays close, and I think Todd Gurley is going to be a huge reason that the game stays close. So at 8,400 in this matchup, play this man. Todd Gurley is an elite spot. I just wouldn't understand why you would fade him. The only thing that I would say that would make me want to fade him is if you are trying to go against the field and maybe you think that the Panthers are just going to whoop that ass and they're going to be up by 3 or 4 scores and Todd Gurley is really not going to get the work that he's been getting. That's fine. But just make sure that you build your lineups based that way. So fade Todd Gurley. I would probably run with Mike Davis, and I would have a lot of Matt Ryan in that lineup. in those lineups at least. But I don't see that happening today. That's just me. I really like Todd Gurley. I think he's in a fantastic spot. The backup. Now, I know to start the year, we all thought Ito Smith would be the backup, but clearly Atlanta thinks otherwise. So the backup right now, as I see, is Brian Hill. He's 2,200. He's taken the backup role and has received about 2 to 3 targets every game. So his ceiling is limited because he just doesn't get any red zone touches or targets. He has 0 so far this year. So his ceiling is limited, but he's a strong floor play. So, hearing that, I would most likely fade in GPPs just because he doesn't get red zone work. But I think he's totally fine for cash lineup. I think if you need that value, I think he's fine. I mean, if he gets you a couple targets for 20, 30 yards, I don't think you'll be truly upset in your cash lineup. So Brian Hill's a good cash play. I wouldn't touch him for GPPs. So love Todd Gurley in all formats. And I think Brian Hill is strictly cash. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the wide receivers now. Carolina is 17th in DVOA and 10th in yards allowed per pass. So they're better. They're better at stopping the wide receivers. Are they elite? No. But teams mostly run on them, so I can see the numbers being a little bit skewed. But regardless, these wide receivers that we're going to talk about are in great matchups. The first one I want to talk about is clearly, and people will disagree with me, and that is totally fine. This wide receiver is clearly the number 1 wide receiver for Atlanta. That's Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley's over 10,000. In my opinion, he took the job. Julio Jones has been off the field. He's been hurt. I mean, obviously another season with Julio Jones who can't figure it out, can't stay on the field, can't stay healthy every game. It is what it is. But Calvin Ridley is just taking over. Calvin Ridley has scored 18.9 DK points or more every single game this year. He's literally a lock for a touchdown, just about. And that's why he's so expensive. In this matchup, they've already played each other before, and he put up almost 25 DK points. Is he going to have a lot of ownership? Absolutely. For a good reason. It's just a hard fade for me. He's expensive as hell. I would understand why you would maybe want to jump down based on the fact of ownership. It's always a possibility something happens. Maybe he doesn't score. Maybe he doesn't reach value. Things like that could happen. But Calvin Ridley is clearly the alpha dog for Atlanta. He's the number 1. He's a safe bet. I would lock him into my cash lineup without a doubt. Wouldn't even think twice about it. I do get the fade in GPPs. And we'll talk about that right now. The reason why I think you could definitely fade in a few lineups from GPPs is because I think Julio Jones, who's 9,800, is going to be lower owned. I never would have thought that I would have saw Julio Jones cheaper than any other wide receiver on his team, but he is. I think he's a great heads play tonight. If you had to make a decision in GPP in a big tournament, I would probably fade Ridley and roll with Jones and hope for the best. It's a possibility that Jones just have the day today and really could get hurt or just have a random day of, 5 catches for 60 yards, and that's not optimal. So I like both wide receivers. Honestly, I'll probably go heavier on Julio Jones. I'm a big GPP guy. Oh boy, not this again. What? I'm a big GPP guy. I'm willing to take the risk. If it bites me, it bites me. I'm not saying that I won't have some Ridley, but I think I would be over the field on Julio. That's just where I'm going in GPPs. In cash, it's Ridley. In GPPs, it's definitely Jones. So the third wide receiver I'll talk about is Russell Gage. He's 4,200. I think he has a safe floor. It's a reasonable floor. He'll get you like 4 to 5 catches for 50 to 60 yards, which is great. And I think his price is definitely okay with that. I do worry about his ceiling in GPPs based on the fact that Carolina really prevents the deep ball. They don't allow a lot of deep passes, and that is really where Russell Gage's skill set is, especially since he plays in the slot. So I do think that he'll have a ton of ownership because he's so cheap. But I find myself going way under the field. I just don't see him being optimal in a GPP lineup. But I would understand for cash, I guess, if you only had a certain amount left and Russell Gage was the best option, I totally get it. But for GPPs, I find myself to be really, really under the field. Oh, dude, I know, man. But the funny thing is I'm always fucking right. And they never come back and they never talk shit because they know I'm right. So it is what it is. Again, Russell Gage is more of a man. I'm just going to be way under the field. I think you can find better options. If you end up with some Russell Gage, cool. I wouldn't hate you for it, but I find myself being really low, like really under the field. So, yeah. So let's keep going. Talk about the punts. We have some MME punts. These are just punts, guys. I don't see them being optimal, but who fucking knows? If you want to play 150 lineups, make sure you have some percentages of these. I'm gonna kill this guy's first name overall. Alamadi Zasuis. I don't fucking know. Someone correct me. Christian Blake and Brandon Powell. Those are all fine MME punt plays. I probably will have 0. If I do have any, it would be some Alamadi because if someone gets hurt, he'll immediately come in and get play. Right? He's already a rotational wide receiver. All it takes is for someone to pull a hamstring, roll an ankle, whatever, for him to get heavy targets. So I think in MMEs it would be smart to have a sprinkle of him just in case that were to happen. Okay, let's talk about the tight end. Hayden Hurst, 6,400. He's a little pricey for his role and his volume, but he has enough upside that I would want exposure in tournaments. I think he's a fine fade in cash. Don't need to go there. But in tournaments, I will have some. Absolutely. I think his upside is significant enough that you can't fade him in MME lineups. I think even if you're running 3, I think you need to have 1 with Hurst. There's always a possibility that catches a touchdown. Everyone's going wide receivers, and as you know, they're a run funnel defense, so maybe Hayden Hurst is the guy that gets the main looks today, which is totally possible. But I definitely will have some exposure to Hurst. Give me 1 second. A student is not understanding that we don't have class today. So give me a second. Sorry, guys. Please read. So in my district, we use Microsoft Teams, and Microsoft Teams was having a major issue today. The kids couldn't log in. The picture was blurry. Something was going on. And of course, I post a message telling them that they need to work on independent work. They have a quiz to do today. But guess how many of them still message me and go, "Do we have class today?" Just read what I say. Read my messages, please. It's a joke. Anyways, so again, I like Hayden Hurst. I think he's fine. Tournament play only. Probably wouldn't touch him in cash. I think he'll be low owned, which makes me really like him. But I don't plan to be over the field. I plan to just be with the field and make sure I have a good amount that he doesn't hurt me when he fucking scores today. So I do like Hayden Hurst. So overall, Atlanta's pretty straightforward. I don't really need to talk about Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan should be in your lineups. If you think this game's going to be high scoring back and forth, you need to have a quarterback. And I think Matt Ryan definitely needs to be in your lineup. So I'm not going to talk about that. Again, in order, I love Todd Gurley. I think Todd Gurley is my favorite Atlanta play. I expect this game to be close. Even if they're down by 3 points or whatnot, or even a score, I still think Todd Gurley is going to get a tremendous amount of carries and a tremendous amount of work. And I would lock in a touchdown today from Todd Gurley, without a doubt. I like Todd Gurley. Brian Hill's fine in cash. Ridley is fantastic in all formats. And then I think Julio Jones is fantastic as well. He's a great hedge play off Ridley if you want to go that route. Russell Gage, for me, strictly MME tournaments. I'm not in love with him today. The Panthers, again, are pretty solid about limiting deep passes, so I don't think Gage will get what we really need today. But I think he has a reasonable floor if you wanted to go that route. Give him extra work. Oh, I need to like read this message and tell me what you read. Like I literally posted like an hour and a half ago, way before class. Teams are not working. Please work on independent work. And I'm still getting messages. When is class? Why are you not there? Just like these sixth graders. It's not like I'm teaching first graders, you know? Like I get it, but they're sixth graders. Unbelievable. Anyway. Yeah. Hayden Hurst again, like him too. So I really like Atlanta. I think Atlanta's a great spot today. I think I think you can get some edge by going under the field on Ridley. I think that will be your edge. And I really wouldn't overthink Todd Gurley. I wouldn't overthink it. All right, let's talk about the Panthers. First news first. I know we talked about that earlier. CMC is most likely out. Only play cats. Why should someone play the other formats on DK? Well, I'm talking about like GPPs. You know what I mean? Tournaments. That's all I play. I don't play cash. I think it's too boring for me. I get it. Some people are like, why don't you play cash? Easy money. I get it. I mean, if I really like the slate and I feel like blowing a lot of extra money, shoot, I'll play some cash, but not my thing. Just I'd rather win a lot of money or lose a lot of money. And that's how I've always been. But I've been pretty my process has been pretty solid. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. But if you're a cash guy, just take everything in account and kind of go that route. All right, so let's talk about Panthers. Again, we talked about this earlier today. CMC is looking like he's not going to play. I don't blame him. It's a short week. They're probably just going to give him another week to rest. And then we'll go from there. So with that being said, we'll talk about running backs first. Atlanta is ranked 7th in run DVOA and 6th in yards per carry. They're pretty good on stopping the run. They're pretty good. As we talked about the Panthers, about Atlanta being a run funnel defense, the Panthers are a pass funnel defense. So it's total opposite. So Mike Davis, 8,800. I do know that I said that the Falcons are pretty good at stopping the run, but they are literally freaking awful at stopping the pass. They suck. They cannot do it. So knowing Mike Davis and knowing his skill set, he's still in a smash spot. Will he get, a tremendous amount of carries for high yards? I don't think so, but it's always a possibility that he busts out for one. It's always a possibility. But I think his major amount of work will be in the passing game, and that's where he excels a lot. That is his skill set, just like CMC. Davis has put up like 20 plus DK points multiple times. He's ran into some tough defenses against the Saints and the Bears. So fully expected him to kind of struggle there, but he's in another spot where he could totally excel in a fast-paced game against a defense who cannot stop the pass at all. So I do think that Teddy B will definitely lean on him and continue to lean on him. So at 8,800 and in this smash spot, and I think he's underpriced. I think he's a 10K player. I think he should be way more expensive than he is now. But yeah, I love Mike Davis today. I just don't see why you would not play him. Again, he should be $10,000 and he's not. He's 8,800. Love Mike Davis today, and he gets all the carries, all the volume. There's no backup that I want to talk to you about because you don't need to play his backup. The backup doesn't get any work. It's all Mike Davis. So again, fade at your own risk. He is in play in all formats, cash and tournaments. I wouldn't even think twice about it. I just got a message saying, how do I get in? See what I mean, guys? This is a joke, right? This is a joke. Sorry, I'm like totally throwing you guys off. Anyways, so I love Mike Davis. I think he's great. Okay, let's talk about the wide receivers now. And then now this is where we can this is where we can really get Oh my God, don't become a teacher. This is where we can dig in, because this is where I really want to be. Talk about wide receivers. So Atlanta right now ranks 31st in DVOA, 31st in yards allowed per pass. As I said before, they suck. They can't stop the pass. They can't. They are getting eaten alive on the pass every single game, and that's why the games are always high scoring. But it's up to Atlanta to keep the games close. So, that being said, Robbie Anderson, 9,200. Robbie Anderson is ahead of Moore in targets, but Moore has more air yards. I really like Robbie Anderson. I think he's in a great spot. Again, the matchup is fantastic. But I do see myself going, good Lord. I'm getting upset with these kids. I really see myself going, I'll have a lot, but I think I will be a tad bit under than what most people are going to go, because I really like DJ Moore a lot more, just because he is, what is it? $1,000 less than Robbie Anderson. I'm about to yell at this kid. She goes, telling my students, read my message that I posted. What message? The message I posted on Teams. Where's that? The message that's on Teams. Good grief. Good God. All right. Anyways, I think Robbie Anderson is fine. Smash spot, play in all formats. I will have a lot, but I do think I'll have a lot more DJ Moore just based on his price. He's $1,000 less at 8,200. Yes, Robbie Anderson has more targets, but again, DJ Moore has higher air yards. So he's getting a lot more deep passes, and he's getting a lot more, he's just getting a lot more volume, in my opinion. So I love DJ Moore. I love Robbie Anderson, but I do prefer DJ Moore way more than Robbie. And that's kind of how I'm looking at those two wide receivers. Can you play them both together? Absolutely. It will eat up a lot of salary, but that's okay. If you can make them both work, make them both work. Okay, and then the next wide receiver would be Curtis Samuel. Yeah, now she's feeling sad. She's like, I'm sorry. I feel bad, but I had to yell at her. The next wide receiver is Curtis Samuel, 5,400. He caught his first touchdown last week. And I don't know if I like that price at 5,400. The thing is that I think based on his price range, he's like the best option. He's the best option in that price range. So I do think he'll have a lot of ownership, but I don't think he has the upside in tournaments. Definitely will be way under the field on Samuel because of that, but I think he has a decent floor, so he's a totally fine cash play. I think he could easily get you 6-7 points, 5-6 points, and that's okay at that price. But for cash only. For GPPs, we're definitely going to need a touchdown. So, it just depends how you want to build it. If you want to go DJ Moore with Curtis Samuel, or you want to go to Robbie Anderson with Curtis Samuel and DPPs, I think that's fine. I think that makes your lineups a little bit different. I haven't started building my stuff yet, but I can't say that I won't have some combinations like that. But I do find myself, again, going way under the field because I'm super worried about his upside in tournaments. We're going to need that touchdown. He's like I said, he has one touchdown in 7 weeks. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. But again, if you're running 150 lineups or 20 plus or whatever you're doing, I think he's fine. He's fine to sprinkle in your lineups. I just find myself to be going under the field. So the next player I want to talk about is Ian Thomas, 2,600. The matchup is sexy. Again, the matchup is fantastic. The only problem is that he's not getting work. Could he get a touchdown today? Sure, possibility. The matchup's there. But he's going to have to do it on limited volume. So I'm talking like she gets like 2 targets a game, sometimes none, sometimes 1. So you're kind of banking on that sneaky touchdown that, So, yeah, I think With that being said, based off the volume that he's receiving, I would lean more towards just an MME punt. I wouldn't play him in cash. I don't think he's safe at all, regardless of his price tag. Regardless of his price tag. So, Ian Thomas to me is strictly, MME punt. Don't make him a core play. Don't lock him into 3 lineups. Lock him into 150, get some sprinkled in there. But I don't think you necessarily need him today because he's so risky. But if you're willing to take that risk, go ahead. Be my guest. There's always a possibility. I mean, the matchup's great. And then some MME plays would be Farrell Cooper. Seth Roberts will release, so Farrell Cooper should be getting some work on the field. And then Brandon Zystra is another wide receiver who should get a little bit of work on the field as well. Again, only MME punts only. I really hate going after these wide receivers, especially if I don't see any recent history of them getting looks. So if you're playing 150, cool. If not, don't even worry about those punts. But yeah. So, a little backtrack of what we just talked about. Mike Davis, way underpriced, smash spot. Remember, Atlanta does handle running backs pretty well, but they suck at the pass, and Mike Davis definitely excels in the passing game. So I love Mike Davis, way underpriced. Robbie Anderson is a smash spot as well. I think he's a cash lock. Don't even think twice about it. But I do find myself having more DJ Moore than Robbie Anderson based off price. I mean, Moore is $1,000 cheaper with, I think, honestly, and I'll say it, higher upside than Robbie Anderson based off air yards. So I do like both wide receivers quite a bit. Again, you could play both together if you can make it work, but if you can't, that's totally fine. Make sure that you at least have one in your lineup. I love them both. Curtis Samuel, going to be pretty chalky in my opinion. I think a lot of people will play him. I'll be under the field. I think he's great for cash. But again, I think in GPPs, I worry about his ceiling. I mean, he has 1 touchdown in 7 weeks. Take it how you want to take it. But that's how I feel about Curtis Samuel. Ian Thomas, great matchup. Just not getting a lot of volume. Super risky, even at that price. If you feel like he's going to get some work today, play him. But I just worry about him getting there with this limited amount of volume. So that's how I feel about Ian Thomas. All right. So, with that being said, let's talk about my cash pool, and then I'll talk about the captains. So if I'm playing cash, your cash lineup should be really simple. It's all about getting your captains right. And I think in cash, you could definitely punt for captains. So right now, my cash pool would be both quarterbacks, Mike Davis, Gurley, Moore, Robbie. I think Gage is fine in cash. He has a safe floor. Kickers are great. I think kickers and kickers are fine. And I think even Brian Hill is a fine little play if you need that volume or that value in cash. As my quarterbacks, I find myself going, as my captains, I find myself going with quarterbacks quite often. If I can't get there, I know I go to the next person up. And in this situation, I would probably go Gurley or Mike Davis. That would be my next options, and then so on and so forth. So I think cash is pretty straightforward today. Get as much of those big dogs in you can. If you have to play kickers to get those big dogs in, that's totally fine. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking at cash. For GPPs, I love Mike Davis. I think Mike Davis is an excellent smash spot today. Probably be lower owned than Gurley based on the matchup, but we're smart enough to know that he can still eat in the passing game. I love Mike Davis. I love DJ Moore. Again, love DJ Moore today. Todd Gurley, smash spot. I just don't get it. Play the man. Robbie Anderson. And then I normally don't love playing quarterbacks as my captain, but I do like quarterbacks who run a little bit, and Teddy B does do some running. So I think Teddy B is a fine captain spot. So if you need to go that route, go Teddy B. I think that's fine. So I'm really interested in this game. I think it's going to be really fun. I think the running backs is where you need to attack. I'm pretty sure that you can definitely gain some leverage on the field by going under the field on Ridley and going higher on Julio. Just understand Julio has those risk factors with injuries and just being soft and whatever. And I also think you can find some leverage with going DJ Moore over Robbie Anderson in tournaments. I think DJ Moore is still underpriced. I almost feel like Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore should be pretty similar in price, but they're not. So I love them both. But yeah, this game should be super fun. I do have a little message to tell you guys. We are having a special promotion starting today, and running through next Thursday, so November 5th. Our 1 month membership will be buy one, get one for the next week. So if you subscribe today, you will essentially run your membership through the rest of 2020. So if you pay for today, you pay before this is up, you'll have a membership all the way through to the end of the year. You're going to get my NFL sheets that I post every Saturday. You're going to be able to talk to me about any Showdown questions that you have. You're getting smash information with soccer. Yesterday, I took down a Showdown, and I can't even name 2 positions. All I had to do was read our soccer coach Jag's little coaching article about the game itself, and I took that shit down. So, boom, our boy Kyle took down a GPP2, won over $700, smashed it. Soccer's where it's at right now. College football, Nick, again, teaching me so much. Went over $100 last week on a game I don't know anything about. I can't name 2 teams probably. I can name USC and Stanford and Cal and things like that, but any other team, don't even ask me about them. I can't name a player. I don't know shit. But I still was able to put up a huge amount of points and won quite a bit of money. So college is where we're at there too. We have, we're talking Counter-Strike. I'm in there with Counter-Strike talking with some buddies. We're making money daily. We're smashing on that too. So if you're not part of this group and you're not in here just talking sports, I don't know what you're doing. We're really cheap and we're offering just a huge, opportunity to get this pretty much for free until the end of the year. You just have to pay for 1 month. So make sure that you hit up at DFS headquarters. We'll take care of you. We'll make sure we'll get you in there as soon as possible. If you get in within the next, today, you can even talk to me about the game tonight and I can give you some more information or whatever you want me to do. I'm here to help you. So other than that, good luck today, guys. I know this is a little bit early, and I know I had to stop a few times. Being a teacher right now is tough. But other than that, if you need me, hit up DFS headquarters, get into that Slack chat, or hit me up on Twitter, Vigo07. I'll be there to help you guys out. But yeah, all right. Have a good rest of your day. I will see you on the other side.